Melissa Hancock took this cell phone video from her apartment as the storm passed through Uxbridge, Ontario.
I don't know what's happening. This is oh my God.
She says the storm caught her by surprise.
Literally thinking the world is coming to an end.
Part of the roof of her apartment building was ripped off, the surrounding streets littered with debris and fallen trees.
That was the window there.
Today, Hancock and her husband were allowed back into their apartment briefly to gather some of their belongings.
Get the essentials and get out.
Everything is covered in shards of glass.
Ashley Woodhams had to cut a long weekend vacation short after a neighbor called to tell her that her house was destroyed in the storm.
Luckily, nobody was in the house.
Today, she returned to try and salvage what she could.
We took out our memories. We're gathering some clothes, and that's all we have.
There were scenes like this everywhere here. Hundreds of homes, buildings, and cars were damaged, many by fallen trees. The storm ripped this tree right out of the ground, even taking a chunk of the curb with it before landing on top of this house. Residents here tell me that both the tree and house are more than 100 years old.
And now it's just gone.
This man lives across the street from this house. He says, fortunately, his neighbor wasn't home at the time of the storm. You almost have to feel a little fortunate that you're still standing over there.
I feel pretty lucky.
Trees also took out power lines, leaving most of the township in the dark, and many may have to wait a long time before they have power again.
Much of our hydro infrastructure is gone, and we had crews working all last night, and we expect that they'll be working around the clock to get us connected, but it could be days, weeks, I'm not really sure.
Uxbridge Mayor Dave Barton says he's lived here his whole life.
We've never had a storm like this come through town before, and the devastation is just horrible, right? We have many people displaced, both in single-family homes and then multi-residential.
He says it could take weeks before they know the full extent of the damage and much longer to rebuild. But he says there is a silver lining.
Because when you look at some of the buildings, it's amazing that everybody survived and there weren't any significant injuries.
Greg Ross, CBC News, Uxbridge, Ontario.